Hey, what's up everyone? John here from testprepinsight.com, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Rocket German program. I'll cover how the program is structured, what the daily lessons are like, pricing, and of course, my thoughts. This is going to be a pretty comprehensive video, so if you stick with me to the end, it should be all you need to figure out whether Rocket Language is a good fit for you to learn German. So if you're ready, let's get to it. Okay, welcome back. So I just want to mention up front here that since I'll primarily just be covering the big ticket items in this video review today, if you find you need more detail at any point, you can always check out our full detailed written review over on our website. An easy way to get there is just to Google Test Prep Insight Rocket German Review. That's a quick way to find it. Alright, so let's kick this review off by looking at how the Rocket German program is structured and what the lessons are like. So from a high level, the Rocket German program is broken down into 3 overarching levels. You can sort of think of these levels as beginner, intermediate, and advanced, and they get progressively more complex and difficult as you progress from level 1 to level 2 to level 3. And within each of these levels, there are 7 learning modules. And then within each module, there are usually 8 to 10 lessons. But the lessons aren't all the same. Rocket actually uses 2 different types of lessons to teach the material. Of the 8 or 10 lessons in each module, about half will be interactive audio lessons, and the other half will be language and culture lessons. And that's probably a good point to jump into what the actual day-to-day lessons are like. So let's start with those interactive audio lessons. These lessons are going to be the backbone of your learning with Rocket, and frankly, what really differentiates Rocket from competitors like Duolingo and Rosetta. Every one of these lessons starts with a 20 to 30 minute audio exercise where a moderator speaking in English guides you through a conversation between a couple fluent German speakers. She'll explain the context of the conversation you're about to hear, what you're aiming to learn, and then lets the audio roll. From there, she'll frequently stop to explain what you just heard, provide some vocab and grammar tips, and give you a quick chance to practice your own pronunciation out loud. And that's one thing to keep in mind as you work through these Rocket German audio lessons. You will be asked to repeat words and phrases out loud, so make sure you can do these lessons in a place where you don't have to be quiet or feel embarrassed. But anyway, after the main audio lesson, you'll then work through a series of exercises and drills that are meant to reinforce what you just learned through that audio lesson. These include flashcards, pronunciation practice drills, typing phrases, audio recall exercises, and quizzes, as well as an opportunity to participate in a mock conversation and step into the shoes of one of those native speakers. And that's basically it for the interactive audio lessons. Each one takes around an hour to complete from start to finish and is very comprehensive. Then the other form of lesson is the language and culture lessons. And these are much shorter and more streamlined. They narrowly focus in on a few key grammar principles as well as a select culture lesson. You'll usually read through a few short digital explanations of the grammar rules being covered, practice with a few examples in between each, and then finish with a short story on a cultural point. All in all, I'd say these language and culture lessons take about 20 to 30 minutes to complete, if that. They're generally shorter and less intense than the audio lessons. And that's the Rocket German program in a nutshell. Beyond those 2 types of lessons, there's really not too much to the program apart from the occasional expert tip and a few survival kits as they call them. And I know I covered that really fast, so if you want to see some examples of those Rocket lessons that I just rattled off, make sure to check out that full detailed written review that I mentioned. I'll have it linked down below in the description for you. I have some screenshots and more detail over there so you can get a better feel for what to expect. Okay, so before we jump straight into my thoughts on this course, I briefly want to touch on cost and purchase options as Rocket is a bit different from other programs out there. Rather than using a typical monthly subscription model like Babbel, Busuu, and other language companies, Rocket actually uses a one-time purchase model where you buy access to the course and become a member for life. So if you recall those levels that I just mentioned a minute ago, beginner, intermediate, and advanced, you actually purchase the Rocket program by level. You can choose to just purchase the beginner level 1 course, level 1 and 2, or bundle all 3 together. The level 1 package costs approximately $150, the level 1 and 2 bundle costs $300, and the big bundle with all 3 levels costs $450. However, what I will say here is that you'll almost never pay that full price. Rocket is almost always running some sort of deal or special promotion, and I usually see their course discounted by 40 to 60%, so do be sure to check out for coupon codes before buying. I'll actually do my best to keep that description down below, updated with the most current codes and coupons that I can find out there for you, so make sure to check out that text below the video screen and maybe save yourself some coin if Rocket ends up being the right fit for you. And by the way, if I could just say, we work really hard to produce honest and helpful content, all totally free. So if Rocket does end up being the right choice for you, we'd really appreciate it if you'd use those links listed down below in the description. That's how you can support our channel and allow us to keep creating these types of helpful review videos. And if it turns out that Rocket isn't a great match for you, it's no problem at all. I just want to make sure you get matched up with the right language learning app, and we have a ton of other helpful review videos that you can check out. Okay, so now that we've covered how the Rocket program is structured, what the lessons are like, pricing, and all of that, let's get to the good part. What I like and what I don't like about Rocket German. And let's start with the things that I really like. Number 1, the interactive audio lessons. These in-depth guided audio lessons are a game changer and totally set Rocket apart from competitors. Most other language learning apps, apart from maybe Pimsleur, focus on short, quick lessons filled with fast-moving drills and exercises. In other words, they're basically just the second half of the Rocket lessons, those reinforcement drills. And as a result, by leading with this slow, comprehensive audio lesson, the Rocket lessons just feel much more deep and robust. By the time you're finished with one Rocket lesson, you've learned what you probably would learn in 10 Duolingo lessons. Plus, I just love the nature of these interactive audio lessons. The moderator forces you to interact with the audio, actually speaking the phrases out loud and thinking critically about how you'd respond in the context of a real conversation. So in my opinion, this makes the lessons incredibly valuable and one of the most effective means of teaching. Alright, so number 2. This sort of piggybacks on my last point, but I was just blown away by the sheer comprehensiveness of the Rocket German program. Like I said earlier, after finishing just one Rocket lesson, I felt like I learned more than I did in 5 or 10 lessons from some competitors. Between the interactive audio lesson, follow-up reinforcement drills, a quiz, and then grammar and culture lessons, Rocket is probably the deepest and most comprehensive language platform that I've reviewed. Okay, my third pro in favor of Rocket is their prioritization of grammar. I love how Rocket gives extra attention to the most important grammar rules through dedicated lesson work. Most other companies simply weave grammar into their main coursework, which I don't necessarily mind and actually think some companies do quite well. In fact, Rocket even sort of does this with their own audio lessons. But having standalone grammar lessons is super helpful. And these Rocket grammar lessons aren't overly detailed. Overall, they're pretty concise and do a nice job covering key points with examples. Okay, so last up here, number 4, the new interface. So previously, I actually took the Rocket Spanish course, and one of my main complaints was that it had an outdated, clunky interface that was behind the times. It just was really old school, especially compared to other more modern apps. But since then, Rocket has totally revamped their interface, and it is awesome. Everything now is really clean and sleek and well organized. It's just an elegant design that I think is just as good as others now, like Pimsleur and Duolingo. Alright, so that covers my pros. Now let's flip the script and talk about the things I don't like about Rocket German. But before I get to that, I just want to mention that every single month here at Test Prep Insight, we give away a free language learning course to one lucky person. It's super simple to enter. Everyone is eligible. I'll put all the details down below in the description, but just know, it takes less than 10 seconds to enter, and hey, you never know, you could win a free subscription to Rocket Languages. Okay, so number 1 here in the negatives. Rocket just doesn't seem to have as much of a community feel as other language apps. There's a leaderboard where you can see how you stack up against other Rocket users, and a forum where you can connect with others to chat about questions you have. But by and large, I just don't think Rocket has done as good of a job as others as developing a true community feel among its user base. For example, Busuu actually pairs learners up with one another and has you provide feedback on each other's speaking exercises. Memrise allows users to create courses and follow each other, and even Duolingo has a pretty cool community feel with its gamified language learning experience. So what I guess I'm getting at is that Rocket just doesn't seem to do as much to create a community among its users if that's important to you. Alright, so number 2. Because Rocket is so heavy on audio and text, they might not be the best option for visual learners. Honestly, with the emphasis on audio exercises, the focus is more on mental imagery. I mean, you have to visualize what's going on in the audio conversation. But for some people, I know they actually need to see images to act as a memory aid. So if that sounds like you, Rocket might not be the best fit. Okay, so last up here, number 3. While I love the interactive audio lessons, I do have to admit that they can feel sterile at times. The moderator doesn't have a ton of personality, and there's no light humor or fun factor. It's sort of all business. Now don't get me wrong, they are engaging and they were fine at holding my attention, but I just felt like these slow-moving, deliberate lessons could use a little spice and personality every now and again, with maybe a quick joke or some light humor. I think that would really push them over the top. But anyway, that about does it for the detail in this video. So let's get to my final verdict. Should you go with Rocket to learn German? Well, I think the simple answer to this question is yes, depending on what you're looking to get out of your German program. If you just want some quick 5-minute nightly lessons because you want to learn a few phrases before your trip to Berlin, then I actually think Babbel and others might be a better fit. But if you're looking to truly learn German and gain a certain level of fluency, then I think Rocket is a fantastic option. Yes, the lessons are a little lengthy and intense, but by and large, I think they're about the most comprehensive and effective platform that I've reviewed. If you're planning to dedicate some real time to learning German, I would not hesitate to go with Rocket. Anyway, that's all I have for you. I hope this video review has been helpful and you learned a little something. If so, make sure to return the favor by subscribing to our channel, liking this video, and dropping us a quick comment below. That'd really be appreciated. And if you want to learn more about the Rocket German program, or again, see that full detailed written review that I mentioned earlier, make sure to hop on over our website, testprepinsight.com, or check out the rest of the videos on our YouTube channel. We have a ton of great content out there. Anyways, as always, thanks for watching, best of luck, and I'll see you in the next one.